What's up, gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. So in this one, we're going to destroy some more romantic investments that guys have and the things that they say as a result of those romantic investments that ruin attraction with women. That they say to put a woman on a pedestal, even that they say to seek her approval in their dating dynamic, in their relationship, you name it. Because the thing is that many guys are dating women, they might even be in relationships, and the woman is initially interested in him, but because of the things that he says, the things that he says that turn her off, that come off approval seeking, because of that, they ruin her attraction and she just dumps him or she cheats on him or all of that nasty stuff that you do not want to experience as a man. And that's totally avoidable if you behave correctly and you know, very important, what not to do and what not to say to her. So that's what we're going to cover here in this video. So that brings us to the first thing that men should never say, which is telling her, "You're my dream girl." This is absolutely terrible because she will lose all attraction for you. You put her on the pedestal when you tell her this. You can almost never win when you say this to her. And that is especially the case early in the dating process, on the first few dates that you're seeing her. She will just see you as a low status orbiter that she will never sleep with the moment that you tell her, "You're my dream girl." And also when you say this very early in the dating process, you will just show that you're super easy to get for her. So you're shooting yourself in the foot when you say this, so just never do it, and then you avoid ruining her attraction that way. So that brings us to the second point, which is asking her for permission for everything. And this is a move that's, only beta males they would do. Guys that are constantly asking, "Oh, is this okay? Can I do this? What do you think about this?" Etc. Because you shouldn't be asking for permission. You should lead her properly. You should just say, "Let's do this. Let's do that. This is a good idea. I like this. I do not like that." Yeah, you speak in absolutes. You speak as a masculine man. Yeah, you have direction in life. Yeah, but most guys, they do not do that. They're just constantly asking, "Is this okay? Is this okay?" Since they have been kids, they have been taught to believe. They have been conditioned for you to get other people to like you. Yeah, you need to be compliant and that you need to listen to what other people are doing and that you need to be democratic and all of that stuff. And that doesn't work in dating. Yeah, you need to have a sense of direction for your life. You need to show leadership and you need to show that you're not a weakling. Yeah, and if you cannot make your own decisions and you're constantly asking for permission, that shows that you're very unconfident and that will turn women off. Because the guy that is confident, the guy that understands women, that guy, he proposes plans because he knows that women are going to like it. Yeah, he's not going to ask, "Oh, do you like this? Do you do?" He already knows. He understands women better than that women understand themselves. And that's the same that you need to do. So don't ask her for permission. That brings us to the third one, which is telling her, "You're my everything." That is just pedestalization at the highest level. This is incredibly needy, and you will just sound like a total joke to her when you tell this to her. And you come off super low status, and you come off like a guy that has absolutely nothing going on in his life. Because why are you saying to her that she's your everything? Because you're basically saying, "Well, my cup is empty. Yeah, you fill it because like I'm very lonely and I have no one in my life. Yeah, but you're filling that cup up because finally someone is giving me some attention, and my life is very shitty without you." And that comes off super needy, and you basically tell her that your entire world revolves around her. And women do not want to be a priority in your life. They want you to have an amazing life that they can join. So that's how you should approach it as well. So never let this happen to you. Yeah, create an awesome life. Yeah, and women are just the icing on the cake at the end of the day. And if not for her, then you should very easily just be able to hop on the dating apps, yeah, or go to events or start approaching women out there and then replace her, and then you find someone else that is going to be a great addition to your life. Yeah, so you should never tell her "You are my everything" because she isn't that special. You replace her, that's it. So that brings us to the fourth one, which is asking her for dating advice. This is absolutely terrible. Because asking women for dating advice, it shows that you're incompetent. And it's also against women's psychology. Because women love this idea, this fantasy, that the guys that they sleep with, they were just born that way. Yeah, they were born understanding women and knowing how to lead and being super masculine and all of the right behaviors. Women do not want to know that you learned them from someone. They want to believe that all of those behaviors, you were born with them. Yeah, women love this idea because for women there isn't much self-development. Yeah, because you only need to be pretty and that's basically good enough for you. But women cannot understand the notion that you, as a man, that you can be a total loser and decide to become a winner. And that you can be a guy that is constantly rejected by women, but at some point you become a ladies' man. Women do not like that idea because it's against their against the fantasy that they have, against this belief that somehow you're good with women or you suck with them. And that's also why you never ask women for dating advice, because you're only shooting yourself in the foot. Especially if you're asking a girl that you really like, oh, what do you like in guys? The guy that she sleeps with, the guy that's on the weekends fucks her brains out, that guy he already knows. And he's never asking her, oh, do you like that? And asking her for permission and all of that. That guy, he is just leading her properly. That guy just knows what she wants. He understands her better than that she understands herself. That's why you need to be that guy. And also, you shouldn't ask women for dating advice, because the truth is that women do not even know what attracts them. Because when you ask her that, she will just tell you, yeah, I want a sweet guy that buys me flowers and that loves puppy dogs and that takes care of his family. And then you see what they do, and then everyone knows a story of a super attractive girl that went with a jerk that barely texts her back, and that perhaps he's a maverick, yeah, on his motorcycle with his leather jacket, and probably he has a criminal record. Yeah, that guy that never listens, that is non-compliant, and that guy that is that puts himself first, and it is egocentric even in many ways. That guy, he gets laid, and he gets the hottest women. Now, I do not tell you guys to become that, because you don't have to become that in order for you to attract women. And it's also going to give you a lot of problems when you become that guy. But you need to understand the attraction triggers for women, yeah? Being non-compliant, being that guy that understands women, that understands their psychology, and that guy that leads women properly. So asking women for dating advice is totally pointless. You're only shooting yourself in the foot, especially for the women that you really like. They will become turned off and they will never go out with you when you ask them for dating advice. So that's it, guys. So let's go over to the fifth one, which is asking her, are you seeing anyone else? And this is so needy, and you just come off like a loser to her when you ask this to her. Because it doesn't matter if she's seeing anyone else. Who cares? Because you should be 100% so sold on yourself that you see yourself as such a great dating option. She will just forget about all the other guys that she was even considering or talking with. You should be so convinced of yourself that all of the other dating options, they will become invisible to her. But you can only become that guy when you start acting like that guy, and when you do not ask her, are you seeing anyone else? Because then you tell her clearly, he is very worried about the competition, and he is very worried that potentially I'm going to meet another guy that is actually a lot more attractive than him, and that's a lot better in bed, and that has a bigger wiener and all of that stuff. So never ask this to her. Become the best and most attractive version of yourself, and then you do not have to give a shit whether she is seeing someone else or not. So that brings us to the sixth point, which is asking her, was I good in bed? This is a cardinal sin in dating and relationships. Like, she will become instantly dry for you, because women want you to take the lead. And women have this fantasy in their head that the guys that they sleep with and that she comes with like every single time, that guy, he was just born that way. Yeah, he was in the cradle, and he already knew how to bang women and how to make them squirt and all of that stuff. Yeah, that's the fantasy that they have. So that's why you never ask them, because the moment that you ask them, you show that you're incompetent and that you are not that guy. You are not that attractive guy when you ask them, was I good in bed? And of course that you're going to be in bed with her, and you're going to hang it in there. You might come a little bit too fast. Yeah, that can happen. But you always play it down. Oh, it's not a big deal. Because if you're going to ask her, oh, did you like it? Was I good in bed? That's an instant turn off. You can forget about ever sleeping with her again. Because just like what I mentioned before, the guy that she is sleeping with, the guy that she is hot for, that guy, he already knows. He knows his way around a woman's body. He understands even her body better than she understands herself. Yeah, and that's not that difficult. The reality is that women are just very clueless about their own desires and about what they actually like. That's also why you do not ask them for relationship advice, for dating or relationship advice, because they do not know what turns them on and what turns them off. Because otherwise they would be able to give you good advice, but that's just not happening. So never ask her, was I good in bed? Learn it. Yeah, learn female anatomy. Learn how to play with her mind. Yeah, that's why it's very important that you understand female psychology. Yeah, and get a bit of a sexual education. Yeah, there's a lot of guys on the internet talking about this sort of stuff, how to rock her world in the bedroom. Yeah, that's look it up and start doing it. Yeah, it's your responsibility. So that brings us to the 7th point, which is telling her, I want to make you happy. This is terrible. This is very approval seeking, and it turns her off instantly, because women do not want a guy that is doing everything to make her happy and that is putting her first rather than putting himself first. Because she will just think, wow, what a loser. Like, he has so little going on in his life that he feels the need to put me first and to make me his priority and to take responsibility for my feelings. And that cannot happen, because women are totally responsible for their own happiness. They are responsible for their own actions. So this is also contrary to women's psychology, trying to make her happy, because the truth is that women go for men that are non-compliant and that tell them no very often. But when you are going to proceed your dating life and your relationships through, well, I know I should do anything I can to make her happy, then you're going to do things that are going to turn her off. The weird thing is that the best way to make her happy is by not trying to make her happy and by putting yourself first. So women are very backwards very often, and that's just the way it is. So that's it for the 7th point. Let's go over to the 8th point, which is sexualizing. You do not want to do this early in the dating process. Yeah, there is not much that you can gain by doing this. You can do this after a while when when you have been sleeping with her, but do not do this in the beginning. You can flirt with her, that's for sure, yeah, but do not sexualize with her, because otherwise you risk just coming off uncalibrated, and that's what happens to 95% of men when they try to sexualize with women, and it's not going to help you to build a better relationship. She is also not going to think that you're more attractive, by the way. So don't sexualize with her in the beginning. You're only shooting yourself in the foot when you're going to do that. So that brings us to the 9th point, which is asking her for advice. This is very dumb, because the thing is that women want to be with a guy that is competent and that has his own direction in his life. But when you ask her for advice, you're coming off incompetent and as a guy that doesn't get it. And as a guy that cannot handle his own business. And women only go for men that have direction and that know what they are doing. But when you ask her for advice, you basically tell her that you are not certain of what you are doing, that you are not very competent, and that therefore she needs to carry part of the burden that you cannot carry yourself. So don't ask her for advice. You can go to your boys, you can go ask your dad or something. So never saddle her with your problems, because you will turn her off and you're only shooting yourself in the foot when you do this. So that brings us to the 10th one, which is telling her, I'm very lucky to be with you. Because this is putting her on a pedestal, and also because you are saying this to her, she will actually hear, well, this is a terrible choice for you to be with me. And also when you tell her, I'm so lucky to be with you, you're actually telling her, well, you're doing me a favor by going out with me and spending time with me. And things should never be like that, because you should be the guy that is doing the favor to her by spending time with her. And this comes back to other points that we have made. Your life should already be so awesome, so amazing, that she is just a great addition to it. She is just the icing on the cake. So never tell her that you're so lucky to be with her, because it just shows that you are very needy. Yeah, and you're coming off like a total joke to her when you tell this to her. So that brings us to the 11th point, which is telling her what she can and cannot wear. And this is also going to be controversial, because many people on the internet, they will say, well, if she's your girlfriend, if you're dating her, then you should tell her, if she is dressing provocatively, you should tell her that she cannot wear that. And that you should police her, basically. And that is terrible. It comes off controlling to her. And it also comes off like you're trying to force attraction. Because if she was super attracted to you, if she really wanted you and she had very high desire for you, then she wouldn't feel the need to dress so incredibly provocatively when she is going out. So by the fact that she is doing it, it already shows that that you've already lost. But guys treat this event while she is dressing provocatively, they treat it in isolation. No, it's not an event in isolation. There's many different things that have led up to the point that she wanted to dress provocatively, do all of that stuff to garner attention from other guys. Yeah, that never comes out of the blue. So you should just accept it, and you should accept that she has lost attraction for you at that point, basically. Telling her what she can and cannot do will only turn her off further, and it's basically only the nail in the coffin for you. So that brings us to the 12th one, which is telling her, I've been waiting for someone like you. That's absolutely terrible, because what you say to her when you tell her that you've been waiting for a girl like her is that I do not get girls like you, usually. I get no girls at all. And therefore, because you're giving me attention, I am so happy, that I have to tell you that you are so special to me, because you're the only one that gives me attention. And that sounds super, super needy, super approval seeking. And you're basically telling her that she is the prize. Because the truth is that you should have so many dates and so many women around you, that it doesn't matter. If she leaves, you can just replace her if she isn't measuring up to you. So that's it, gentlemen. Never tell this to her, because you sound like a joke when you do this. And that's it for the list, gentlemen. Those are 12 things I usually never say to women. Now, if you realize that your dating life isn't where you want it to be right now, and you want to fix that very quickly, then you can book a call with me with the link in the bio. And then we come on with a strategy for you to get the results that you want in the next few months in your dating life. So that's it, guys. Peace.